Good morning, I'm Sherry.
And I'm Shannon.
And we are the Flippin' Foxes. Welcome back. We have taken a short hiatus the last few weeks from sales, partially because our store's been in the process of being relisted. I have about 3/4 of it, I think, back up now, along with some new listings.
Sorry, I apologize. Travel.
We get these annoying travel calls trying to sell us travel packages. We've even threatened.
Oh gosh, I've threatened to sue them. I've talked to their management department, everything else, and they just still
call us. Sometimes they will call us five, six times
a day
till like 9, 10 o'clock at night. We purchased a package. What was it like?
Gosh, it's been like 9 years ago.
We purchased a package and we never went. I don't even remember why.
We got busy.
And it's one of those where they want you to sit through their, what do they call it?
Sale. Well, they don't call it a sales deal. Their pitch for their timeshares.
Timeshare.
And of course, we don't want a timeshare. We know about timeshares. So we're like, no, we're not doing a timeshare. But we figured, we'll sit through the 2 hours, to
get a free vacation
out of it. And we just never ended up going. So.
And they insist on giving it to us. And then they try to sell you all of these additional features. And they won't take no for an answer. So, well, we will get into our sales. We do finally have enough sales. It was not a super busy weekend, but we had some consistent larger sales, which was nice. Across all platforms except Posh. I don't get much on Posh. I mean, I'm cross-listing there, but it's kind of hit and miss, and I'll get one, and then I'll go 2 weeks without anything, and then another one will pop up. But just kind of another set of eyes. Eventually it'll sell, but so our first, they still calling you? Oh.
YouTube's responding to something. I don't know.
Our first Mercari sell, I usually start with the Etsy, but we had one Mercari sell, and it is
the first one was a Toastmaster Platinum automatic bread and butter maker. I don't know about the butter part, but anyway.
No, it has a
butter churn feature.
It has a butter.
So it has a butter churn feature on it.
I guess.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
Butter churn.
Yeah, bread and butter maker.
Okay. Anyway, and that went for $65 on Mercari. So that was free shipping.
Not sure what it's going to cost to ship.
So we're going to have to be creative with that one.
And this is a model 1199S. I had it on the Facebook Marketplace too, and I had somebody reach out local wanting to buy it, but I never heard back from them. So it didn't wind up going on Mercari. So we had 5 eBay sales?
5 eBay sales. The first one was a signed George Lentz, or Doc Lentz, 1960s Minnesota Twins card, or
no, it's a photo.
Sorry, it's a photo, black and white, 4x5.
Team photo.
That went for $19.99 plus shipping.
I had this was actually an auction. I don't do auctions very often, but we had got a bunch of vintage baseball.
A bunch of vintage baseball stuff out of that deal from.
And I looked up, right down the road. I looked up some information on him. I guess he was one of their trainers. There's not a whole lot out there on him, so I was kind of surprised. I have 3 different ones, and 2 of them, grab them here. 2 of them are actual players. So I put all 3 of them on auction individually, and the trainer went, not the players. So
somebody probably knew him.
Somebody knows something about him or knows of him, but I could find very little information on him. But it did go for auction.
Yep.
So that was a pretty decent sell for a photo we paid maybe 25 cents for.
Oh, yeah. Only minimum.
It was a whole box of...
That was a box of vintage and antique baseball stuff. There's a baseball mitt that was from like the early 1900s, late 1800s.
He spent like an hour researching it.
Trying to find that thing.
And it does have very
faintly, you can still see the embossing in the leather, but you've got to hold it at the right angle and get the right light. It's really kind of a pain.
Went through auction, and I had very few views on it even. I put it on Buy It Now, and I've got more views in the last 2 days than I had in the whole week it was on auction. So I don't think we're doing auction anymore.
So the next thing was a Betty Boop digital alarm clock in pink.
And this came from our Betty Boop
Britain.
All. It does work. It's very faint, and we're not even really sure what the design is, but it has like a projection that's
It looks
supposed
like a target, almost like a bullseye.
not
So,
sure what
Not
that's
sure if that's what
for,
it was
but
supposed to be or what.
it does work. And I did get a picture of it showing up against the wall. So I have no idea what it would look like in a completely dark room, but
We could try that. That'd be an option.
we set the time, what was it, 3-4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
However long it's been up here on the shelf, and it's
She's still holding
at
time.
the right time, so it works. That went for
$40 plus shipping. And then the next one was a Halloween nurse scrub top.
okay.
And that's Halloween pattern. That was
It's already prepackaged. We picked this up at this was at the church rummage sale
Yes.
in Redfield.
In Redfield.
We picked up how many of these? Like 8 of them.
7 or 8.
I'm out of them. They were not super fast sellers because when was that?
Yeah.
That was in the winter, huh?
That was
Last
probably January.
Yeah.
Maybe
And
January, February.
and most of them were holiday themed. They're all over prints. This one has, I'll put it up on the screen too, but it has pumpkins and bats. But I had spring ones and Thanksgiving ones, and this is the last one, and it sold for.
That one sold for $13.71 plus shipping.
And our
The next one was a Phobos ST11 left-handed paddle holster for a Springfield XD pistol.
personal sell,
And that was one of mine. That went for $25.24 plus shipping.
and
I used that thing twice, maybe.
it's basically brand new. I mean, I sold it as used, but he very seldom used it. So, but anyways,
So that one, yeah.
I already said sold on that.
$25.24 plus shipping.
Okay.
And then the next thing was a Reindeer Poopin' Pets Jelly Bean Christmas Candy Dispenser Novelty Gift.
I made sure to put on the listing, whether they'll listen to it or not, that it's for novelty purposes only, not edible. I mean, they say they are, but I don't think I would because it is expired. I put that on there too, but
That went
He is-
for $9.08 plus shipping.
he's a little reindeer who poops out.
Yeah, we saw these. Where did we see these at?
We got it at a
I
garage
know we
selling.
saw them somewhere too.
I don't remember.
But anyway, so you push on his head and his body, and he poops out a bean every time you push on him. You've probably seen him.
Brown jelly beans. So we had 2 of these. The other one was a squirrel. And he sold months ago. But this one went, I'm assuming, for the holidays. And God, I hope they don't give it to their kid to eat. But
Hey, whatever. Not my children. So then we went to Etsy, and on Etsy we had 4 sales.
which, by the way, is great because Etsy must be starting to pick up again. I've been really pushing to make sure that I'm getting as many keywords in, and it's a little more time consuming to list on Etsy because they have like 13 tags and it's just, but it is a good place for vintage, and I like it because you can set your own parameters as far as returns, which we like. I do 14-day returns on there, and once the 14 days is up, it's up. It's not like eBay. I literally had a return last night that popped up, a return request. And I've never had this before, so it kind of surprised me when I clicked on it. It said, you don't have to accept this return. And I'm looking at, I've never had that from eBay, because usually they automatically approve them, and then you're kind of stuck. So I opened it up and realized it was, 6 weeks ago?
6, yeah.
Over 45 days that it sold, and they were wanting a return. It was on a
Keurig water tank for a coffee maker. It was just the tank that we sold because it was brand new. We bought it, and it was for the wrong machine. And they apparently did the same thing, but claimed that
it didn't fit. I guess it took them 45
days to figure out that the thing didn't fit. I find that a little hard to believe, but anyway.
So I declined it, and it said case closed, end of story. So I was kind of happy about that. But Etsy I like because it is, for the most part, your store. I mean, we did find out, unfortunately, that Etsy can shut you down when they want, if they feel something, their bots have found something they don't like. We got lucky and they reopened it 2 days later. But so we are starting to get sales again on there. And
first one on Etsy was a Dimitas cup and saucer. That was hand painted gold trim. It's a World War II Japan occupied Japan.
World War II, World War World War I, World War II were not real.
And that went for
kind of in between them.
$35.71. It's a cute little cup.
It's actually really pretty. It's got look like rosebuds. I'm guessing.
No,
No,
I think they're
it looks like
not lilies. What is this? Tulip, like a red tulip.
maybe
before
tulips.
before they bloom.
But the gilding on it, which is the gold trim, they call it gold gilded, is actually in really good shape. A lot of times you get it, especially when they're from the 30s, 40s, and a lot of it's usually
Worn off.
faded. But this one's actually pretty good. It's got a couple of spots, but I put all that in the listing. So
And then the next one was another Betty Boop item, coffee mug. It's an Oopa Doop single.
yeah, boop oopa doop. It
Boop
says
Oopa
up
Doop.
here.
And that went for $20.06.
And I'm hoping that the shipping on this is okay because I do free shipping on Etsy. I just kind of added into the price, but this is going to Puerto Rico. So
Yeah.
we're going to find out if it's a very similar price wise to the, what does it say?
I was just reading this. What it said.
Price wise to sending it domestic. So we'll see.
And then the next one on there was a Wheelock Vienna, Austria floral teapot.
I got to be really careful with this because this,
That one is also hand painted, and it's a really nice little piece.
it's Austrian. And it's actually even hand stamped Wheelock, Vienna, Austria. We got these at an auction and they had it listed.
They had it labeled wrong. They misnamed it something else.
So people were bypassing it altogether.
Because, when you search for something, you search for the name, and if the name doesn't come up, you don't. Well, this was one of those that I saw, and I was like, wait a minute. And I looked, I was like, whoa, that's a Wheelock. It's not I think they had it in there as a weed lock or something like that, so nobody even looked at it.
And we wound up getting it for like $6, and it sold for
$133.44.
So when that came through last night, I was like, woohoo!
So yeah,
It's going to be fun to pack, but I was actually thinking it was bigger than this.
no, I think you're thinking of.
I was thinking of the green one over there, but I was actually thinking it was a lot bigger and going, oh, that's going to be fun to pack, but lots of bubble wrap.
Yep, for sure. And then the last item was a 1969 Celestial Seasoning Specialty Tea Tin, which went for
69 or 89? 1989.
Oh, sorry, that's an 89.
I was going to say, I thought that was
It's at an angle. What can I say? $21.20.
and it's
Like I said it all.
just a vintage tin. And we pick these up all the time because usually they've got them in lots of,
There's usually 4 or 5 of them,
Or more.
3, or
and they're not super fast sellers, but they are some bread and butter items that kind of go maybe one a week. And I've got a ton of them, as you can see.
$20, and I think we paid.
Ritz one up there and an M&M, and I've got bins in the
We
house
might have
full.
paid $2 or $3 a piece for these things.
If even
maybe.
that. So, anyway, Celestial Seasonings, which is
And that's the last one of those, or that's the last one of those, but the last item on our list for today.
and so what I want to try and do as we get pretty much the rest of the store listed is pick 1 or 2 items when we're doing some of these and maybe kind of delve into the history of them. I was going to do that today, but we've kind of run out of time. Our oldest son just moved here. So I doubt you'll see him on any of the videos. He hates the camera. He'll be the behind the scenes person. But since we sell so many vintage items, primarily vintage, it's always kind of nice to know, especially the stuff from the 20s, 30s, 40s, some of the history behind it, whether the companies are even in business anymore, which most of them are not. I know Wheelock is not, right? I think they stopped producing like in the 70s or 80s,
Yeah,
from what I was
I
reading.
think it was the 80s, but
So it's kind of nice to know the history of the item, and maybe, and you can put it in the comments below if you'd be interested on some of the items we're listing. Oh, and that was the other thing. We just got a very large shipment in.
a large shipment of stuff from an auction from last week.
Oh, week and a half ago.
Has it been
It's
that
almost
long?
been 2 weeks ago. I was actually kind of worried because we hadn't heard from the company at all. They're out of Wisconsin, and they hadn't charged my credit card. And I kept telling them I'm going to have to call them because I haven't seen anything come through on it. And then all of a sudden this morning, how many boxes?
4 boxes, big
Huge.
18 by 18 boxes showed up on the doorstep.
So I think what we'll be doing is an unboxing video, probably going to be in multiple parts since there's so many boxes. So you
And I
will
don't
get
even
to see.
remember what we got.
Well, I do know that there's a lot of Disney stuff in here
Yes, there
because
is
she
some Disney
was
stuff.
she was
Disney
a
fanatic.
yes, and I'm talking everything from what was it, oven mitts
There
to
was- yeah,
pretty much
there
everything.
was plates and there was cups and there was
We were kind of
you name it.
selective on this and getting better about not just picking up the lots because
But you can't
There's-
let something go if nobody's bidding on it. It's only $2.
No, he's
Come
horrible.
on.
He will have a lot of 20 things, and if it's going for $2, he buys it.
It's like,
Half of them's not going to sell, and we're going to have to turn around and
but if you
re-auction
get
them.
that one item out of it that's worth,
It's worth
50,
it.
$60 and you pay $2 for it and the rest of it you
We have an
send to
entire
auction.
trailer
Who
load
cares?
full because of that, and we've already made our money back on it. So as I pull stuff to list, which by the way, I'm listing a lot of Christmas stuff right now. Got some bells that I got yesterday, and do I have any more? I guess I don't. I don't know if you like Christmas geese, but some little geese ornaments, and most of these are vintage porcelain or ceramic, so they're not cheap. I mean, I'm not selling them for a lot, but they're collectibles. So anyway, so if you keep an eye out, we will be putting an unboxing
We also have
video.
Mr. and Mrs. Claus.
Oh yes,
Don't forget Mr.
Are
and
they
Mrs. Claus.
animated? No, they're not. Those aren't animated.
No.
So, but keep an eye out, and our unboxing video will be putting out throughout the week. It'll, like I said, it'll probably be a 4-parter because it's going to take us a while. But so we are going to go ahead and get this stuff packaged up and headed to the post office, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to see
Like and subscribe.
you next time.